Hey guys, Matt here. This is my review of Deadpool and Wolverine. This movie is directed by Sean Levy, who previously directed Night at the Museum, Free Guy, and Real Steel. This movie stars Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Now, the plot of this movie I have to be super vague on because I don't want to give any spoilers away for this movie as they're very important. Basically, the TVA, the Time Varied Association, has pulled in Deadpool, Wade Wilson, and said that your universe is at stake, so we need you to save it. In a nutshell, that's what this movie is about. Now, how Wade Wilson goes about doing that? Well, he enlists some help from Wolverine. Now, let me say right off the bat that this is a fun, exciting, entertaining movie, and it tries to do nothing else but be that. Now, this is Deadpool's entrance into the MCU. So this movie is going to be by itself, enclosed in its own storyline. It's not really going to bring in anyone else from the MCU because it's not time for that. This is Hugh Jackman's swan song as Wolverine, I think. But also, this is Deadpool 3, essentially. So this movie is everything you'd expect from a Deadpool movie. It's going to break the fourth wall. It's going to have rude, crude, outlandish, crazy humor, crap ton of violence, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be for comic book fans, fans of the MCU movies, fan of the Fox movies, and everything in between. As far as the acting goes, well, let's be honest. You're not going to see this movie for a serious, straightforward plot. You're not going to see this for a lot of things you would go to see another established professional film for, because it's a Deadpool movie. So as far as the acting goes, Ryan Reynolds was born to play Deadpool. Hugh Jackman was born to play Wolverine, Logan, James Hewlett, whatever you want to call him. Their chemistry is off the charts. This is a buddy cop movie. It's a frenemy movie. It's everything you want from these two characters. What you thought you got from Deadpool 2 between, Deadpool and Cable, you get that ramped up to 11 here between Deadpool, the Merc with the Mouth, and Wolverine, the best it is of what he does, and what he does isn't very nice. Hugh Jackman, to me, made this movie because there are so many moments regarding the Wolverine character that we haven't got to see until now. Many moments had me clenching my fists in excitement because I was like, holy crap, not only are we finally getting this version of Wolverine, but we're getting him to do this, say the thing. All the moments we've wanted from comic books, previous movies, from Hugh Jackman himself. Everything we've wanted from the Wolverine character, we get in this movie. Now, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. He's great. He knocks it out of the park. I did have some issues this time around, but they're really nitpicks. There's a couple moments where I felt that Ryan Reynolds was just kind of basking in his Ryan Reynolds-ness, and he was just a little over the top as Deadpool. There are a couple scenes where Deadpool was reacting to a joke with a sharp quip, and that was great. Those were fine. But there's moments where Deadpool is trying to make a joke, and so to make this punchline land, he kind of drags the joke out using a whole bunch of obscenities and crude humor that eventually got old. There was so much to laugh at in this movie that some parts you were either still laughing from the previous joke, or you were kind of like, okay, I have to laugh because otherwise this joke is going to keep going. So there's some moments I thought went on for a little too long, especially some exposition in the first act, setting up the TVA, Deadpool, why he has to help out, how he has to help out, MacGuffins, stuff like that. But they passed. Very quickly it is that over with. And then the movie kind of jumps into, I don't want to say cameo fest, but there are a lot of cameos. Some small, some quick, some long, some for, entire fight scenes. But I would say a majority of the cameos, in my opinion, were very short and sweet. It was a lot like the cameos in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Certain cameos fans were super excited to see and they couldn't anticipate them anymore. And then they happened, and then they were over, and you were like, oh man, that was really cool to see, but at what cost? And that's one of my issues with this movie. It's not a knock on it, it's just an observation that I'm making, is that because we have movies like X-Men Days of Future Past, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Man No Way Home, and now Deadpool and Wolverine. Now we've gotten all the cameos, all the actors saying the things, wearing the costumes, doing their character things. This can't be topped. Unless you have Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man in the next movie and Tobey Maguire, you can't top any cameos. You can't top any actors coming in, saying hello, and then leaving. Some scenes I was like, okay, that's cool. But others were a little disappointing because they mentioned that characters that I really wanted to see were killed off. But you can't cram everything in this movie, so I'm really hoping that when the DVD and Blu-ray comes out, that we get all the deleted scenes, extended scenes, all this stuff that we didn't get. Also, because all the actors and actresses couldn't come back for this movie for whatever reason, you do get a lot of characters we've seen before, but unfortunately, the actors couldn't reprise their role. So yeah, we do get to see so-and-so from that one movie, but it's not the same actor. It's still neat to see that character back, but it's not the same. As far as the fight scenes go, holy crap. The 3 best fight scenes in this movie, no surprise, were involving Deadpool and Wolverine. 2 of them were just amongst themselves. 1 of them in a vehicle. Awesome. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Logan, you can never replace him. You can try, you can get close to it, but there will never be another Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Once again, just like in Prisoners, we get one of the most intense, personal, best acting scenes from Hugh Jackman in a car, punching the roof, in this movie. We get some heartstring moments. We get some serious moments where characters realize, hey, not everything's a joke. They look inward. They get emotional. They realize what their purpose is. And it's stuff like that. Just like in the first Deadpool movie, where I'm like, you know what? I'm glad this stuff is in the movie, instead of just being a silly action gore fest with a bunch of puns and jokes. So, oh yeah, the soundtrack. Awesome. The opening scene of this movie, one of the best intros in any movie. Definitely Deadpool style, right up there with some of the best. Crazy, action, great. Yeah, this movie was great. It's a fun time. This is definitely one of those movies that you want to see in the theater because of the reaction that you're going to give, the fans are going to give. It's great. And there are 2 post-credit scenes in this movie, one after the credits and one during the credits, which is a nice homage to the Fox movies and Hugh Jackman's time as Wolverine. Really cool to see some of those things. And as far as the final scene goes, well, all I'm going to say is, to quote our favorite captain, language. So, because this movie is everything you thought it was going to be, and delivered tenfold, but it was a bit of a cameo fest with a little kind of a weak plot, and it was self-contained. It wasn't necessarily, the MCU and Deadpool's universe. They were shaking hands, but it wasn't like, hey, he's in the MCU now. They just kind of said that. I'll see what they do with these characters going forward. So, because of that, I'm going to give Deadpool and Wolverine a B+. This was definitely a must-see movie and the best fun I've had at the movies, probably since Endgame, if not No Way Home. So until next time, guys, see ya.